Good evening. This is Hungary Reports, kicking off public media and one's foreign language news hour. I'm Balázs Bende. Thanks for joining us. Vladimir Putin arrives to Budapest on Wednesday to meet Hungarian PM Viktor Orbán. They are to sign significant agreements in the fields of economy, sports and the protection of Christian communities. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade Péter Szijjártó said that strengthening economic relations is in Hungary's national interest. He also said that Western states have already established strong ties with Moscow, even though they do not brag about them in public.
This year, Viktor Orbán held negotiations with most leaders of world powers. After the US president, the German chancellor, the French, and the Turkish president. He is going to meet the Russian president on Wednesday. The last time they met for negotiations in Moscow last September. This time, Vladimir Putin is coming to Budapest. Before the summit, an intergovernmental economic committee met on Tuesday, where several cooperation agreements were prepared. The central element of Hungarian-Russian cooperation is the energy sector, especially nuclear energy and the POX2 investment. This is a constructive cooperation, the Russian health minister said, who also added during the past 2 years, Hungarian-Russian foreign trade has increased by 30% and has reached $7 billion by now. As for the Hungarian-Russian summit of Wednesday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade emphasized the relationship between Europe and Russia is dominated by arguments only in front of the public. In the background, Western states have developed a close trade cooperation with Moscow. Therefore, Hungarian interest is also the same, to develop economic relations. We can represent the interests of the Hungarian economy and Hungarian companies adequately. We are maintaining a fair and transparent relationship, as a result of which we could achieve economic successes during the previous years. These successes can help maintain the growth of the Hungarian economy, the minister said. On Wednesday, traffic restrictions are expected in the capital as a result of Vladimir Putin's visit.
Supporting Christian communities is also in focus at the Russian-Hungarian summit on Wednesday. Religious leaders from the Middle East also came to Budapest to meet Viktor Orbán and Vladimir Putin. In the recent days, an international study was published saying persecution and violence against Christians is intensifying all over the world.
Christians living in Asia, as well as the Arab world, are regularly the targets of bloody attacks. According to a recent survey, 11 Christians are murdered every day for their faith worldwide. Supporting Christian communities of the Middle East will be one of the accentuated topics that Viktor Orbán, Prime Minister of Hungary, and Russian President Vladimir Putin are set to discuss on Wednesday in Budapest. A conference was held on Tuesday in light of this issue. Christian leaders from Syria and Iraq took part in this event. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade said that the aspiration to manifest democracies founded on ideological grounds is a futile endeavor. Moreover, since the situation has declined, the region has become a hotbed for extremist views, a field where Christians are persecuted. Péter Szijjártó emphasized that it is hypocritical that the international community is not willing to talk about this issue. We must let go of these hypocritical stances and leave our political correctness behind. We must speak clearly about how Christianity is the world's most persecuted religion. The world's most persecuted communities are that of Christian communities, Péter Szijjártó said. The minister added that the safety of Europe begins with the stability and safety of the Middle East and that of North Africa. Therefore, help must be delivered where misfortune manifests. Péter Szijjártó also touched on how Hungary has aided the construction of $40 million worth of houses, churches, and schools through the Hungary Helps program. This way, more than 50,000 Christians were able to remain in their respective homelands.
Those who were lucky enough to look up in the skies the right moment could see one of the newest military aircrafts of the U.S. Air Force flying over the Budapest skyline. The special aircraft can take off and land just like a helicopter. It doesn't even need a runway. U.S. servicemen are on a joint training mission with Hungarian units. The American commander said Hungarian troops carry out their duties outstandingly.
Two CV-22 aircrafts of the U.S. Air Force took off at Liszt Ferenc International Airport for the air show above Budapest, under ideal weather conditions for them, that is, in rain and strong crosswind. These powered lift aircrafts are designed to fly under especially bad visibility conditions. Flying low at night, transporting special ops units to hostile territory, and extraction, even under extreme circumstances, are just some among their combat tasks. U.S. troops carry out training operations in the Hungarian airspace in cooperation with the 2nd Special Purpose Brigade of the Hungarian Army, named after valiant Árpád Bertalan. The air show above Budapest has been part of the drill, started on the 25th of October. Every serviceman carries out tasks with his own technical equipment. Of course, in the meantime, they experience and learn how soldiers of other nations use their equipment, what the possibilities of using the equipment are, and even more importantly, the possibilities of using them jointly together, the minister said. Colonel Robert Horden, Lieutenant Commander of Special Purpose Regiment 352 of the U.S. Army, praised the accomplishments of Hungarian soldiers. Above all, he commended their hospitality and outstanding work ethic. Hungarian and U.S. Special Forces continue the drill executed in June in the Szolnok building on the experiences acquired then. The aim of the training is to enable the armies of the two nations to carry out even the most difficult military tasks in cooperation with each other.
Stone soup, palote soup, fish soup, fruit soup, vegetable soup, and you could just keep going on until you list all 77 Hungarian soups, the recipes of which have been collected and published in one book. The Book of Soups is an appendix of the prestigious magazine called Hungarian Cuisine. The editors say very few nations in the world appreciate soup as much as Hungarians do.
Pumpkin soup and Újházi-style hen soup. These are just a few samples from the 77 types of tastes summarized in the publication called The Book of Soups. Squash soup is interesting in that it's in season right now. It is rather fruity in character and it is really quite delicious. And then we have the catch-a-lad soup with its own story, that it can catch men. And ever still, it is a really complex wild soup, adorned with a quail egg and mushrooms, Zsolt Litowski said. Seared soups, vegetable soups, and fruit-based soups also play a part in this publication. The Book of Soups will make its first appearance as an appendix of a prestigious gastronomy magazine. Winter is coming, nights run long, and we retreat to the warmth of our homes. Let's find something good about all of this. With this collection, we would like to render these long winter nights more memorable, Anikó Lévai said. Readers can, alongside the flavors, discover the various new technologies of the culinary world, as well as the stories tied to the soup world, and lastly, the experiences of the chefs. The editors plan to publish further editions where the most important Hungarian and international foods will be plated in written form.
A grand exhibition opened in the Budapest Museum of Fine Arts titled Rubens, Van Dyck and the Heyday of Flemish Painting. Minister of Human Resources Miklós Kásler said at the opening ceremony that the exhibit displays about 120 artworks, some 30 pieces of Rubens and Van Dyck's wedding portrait of Princess Mary Henrietta Stuart, which is a fresh acquisition of the museum. The minister added that masterpieces from 40 major public and private collections from all over the world have arrived to Budapest.
Through the outstanding works of 17th century Flemish painters, this exhibition showcases how society and artists were thinking in those days about the world, their past, their traditions, their history, their everyday lives and God. It also shows how they lived, what they considered important and attractive.
Visitors are welcome all year in the Dye in Blue Museum in Pápa. Visitors can learn about the machines and equipment of the workshop founded by the Kluge family in 1786. The profession was followed by 7 generations of the family. The plant was active until 1956 and was reopened as a museum in 1962. Agnus Dei, the Sheep of God. This is the title of an exhibition opened in Pesti, Híradó. The exhibit displays a selection of cultic objects once used by religious people and by the Hungarian Catholic Church. The 250 pieces guide visitors through the traditions of Eucharism. And that's all for now, but do stay with us and watch our German, Russian and Chinese language news. Thanks for watching us. Take care. Good night.